I checked out the mini ornaments at Walmart and found this cute little Santa suit, and I believe it is going to fit a Ken doll. So I am going to try and get it off this hanger. They glued it to the hanger, which was a huge mistake. I think it's going to be a cute hanger too. First thing, I'll just cut off the tag, and then I decided to use a stitch remover to try and get it off the hanger without damaging the coat. Didn't want to take too much off of there, and I kind of wanted to salvage the hanger because it's a cute little hanger. And it actually did turn out to be a pretty cute little hanger. So it was really stuck to it on both sides of the hanger. But I did eventually get it off, and the hanger is really cute. So I will add that. I can, you know me, I'm always getting hangers, never have enough. So it's like a bonus, you get a hanger and the Santa suit. So they also had it connected at the belt. So like, okay, another place. So I had to get that undone. And then after I did that, I realized, you know what? It really needs and then I found out the arms were also connected to the sides. So I had to unstick the arms, and they did it all with some kind of glue, and it definitely wasn't hot glue. It was something a little stronger than that, because I would have been able to pull it off a lot easier. So I had to unstick the arms, but sure enough, the coat seems to fit almost just right. The only thing is that the arms might be a tad bit too long, and I probably can fix that a little bit. I think I could probably hand sew and pull it up a little bit. I'm going to try just to push it up. I don't really want to change it. It is going to need a button there, so I'm going to use the snaps that I like to use on Barbie clothes, and also a snap underneath the coat there. And it had like a little bit of like a place where some of the belt you could see was missing, where it overlapped. So I had to do something about that. So I took a piece of ribbon, a black ribbon. I couldn't find one the exact size, so I had to find one bigger and cut it down and put it under. And then I decided, well, I've got to do the whole Santa outfit. So I had this fuzzy, it's stretchy though, that's the only thing. So it's hard to, when you're sewing it, it's thick, it's fuzzy, it's stretchy. And when you're sewing it, it wants to like elongate on one side and bunch up. It's really kind of a pain. But it is the perfect Santa material, and the size of it is, like the fur of it is the perfect size for Barbie. It's the scale. So the first thing you have to do is sew the outer seam, the long side, not the side that has the crotch. So both pieces, I have 4 pieces all together, 2 facing each other, and I'm sewing. I have the good side facing the good side, and I'm going to sew straight down that side. And then once I've got that side done, you can open it up, and I want to put a cuff. I want to put the white Santa furry cuff. So I just happen to have the perfect thing to do that too. These towels that they sell at the dollar store, they're for drying your car. Like you can dry your whole car with it, some kind of special towel. I think that's what they're for. Anyway, I took one of those, and the edge of it has a seam already. So you want to cut it off the edge, and I want to use that finished seam for the bottom. And so you just open the pants up, measure how far across you need it. And then I figured like just a little more than ½ inch, because I want the cuff to be like a ½ inch at least, because Santa always has a big white furry cuff. And then give myself a little bit for a seam allowance. So very simply, this material is so easy to sew and cut. I love it. I've used it for a few things actually. So then you put good side to good side, and there is a good side. There's one part of the seam that is more finished than the other. And I ended up not noticing that until I'd already done both. So I had to cut 2 more pieces and start over so that I'd have it. This is the one I did wrong. The other side is nicer, so I ended up not using that and starting over with a second one. Then you want to sew the inside where the crotch is, but you don't sew that part. You sew just from there down and leave the waist, basically, is what you do. So right from where it's curved, that's where you start sewing on that side and sew it all the way down. So basically you have 2 pant legs done, and this is really easy, an easy way to do it, less confusing to me. Take one, turn it right side out, and then push it inside the one that's still outside. Get them nice and even, and then now you have good side facing good side, right? So all you have to do is sew a loop around that edge. You're just gonna go down around the crotch and then up the other side. And I started to do this on the machine, and as I was doing it, I broke the band, the gasket thingy. So I had to do the other side by hand. But this was perfect. I tried it on them inside out, and if you fold down, which I'm gonna have to do for the waist, it's just right. So this turned out well. I'm gonna use this stretchy waist stuff. So I'm just gonna have it be a stretch waist. So you measure it on the doll and get the right amount. And I always have a hard time with this elastic. It's so hard to sew. So what I do is overlap it, and then I run my needle through both pieces, like back and forth 3 or 4 times. Then after I've gone through it back and forth, then I just start wrapping the thread around and tying, wrap and tie over that area that I joined to really give it enough strength and try and get it to lay just a little flatter. So you can see I'm gonna go back and forth. So this is where I go around, right? Go around one more time and then loop through it and pull it tight. And I do that repeatedly to ensure that it doesn't come apart. And this seems to work good for me. I'm not a professional seamstress, so. And then I just, and here I'm showing you where I put that piece of ribbon on the coat. But I sewed down and ran that elastic through so that it just kind of bunches up. I took this out of an Excedrin bottle. It was the cotton that they have stuffed in there. And so I just fluffed it up a little bit. It turned out to be the perfect size to give Santa a belly. And it just stays under there. I don't have to make a little belly suit or anything. I just push it up under there, and it gives it just the right amount of fluff for his stomach. So look, if I'm gonna turn it sideways, see, it's just perfect. This is such a good little Ken doll Santa outfit. But of course, if I'm gonna have a Santa, I wanted to have the boots. So I took a pair of shoes off of these clone, like G.I. Joe things I got, dolls I got, and they're really, really big. So I have to slice down the back for it to be able to go on his foot. And then I have to cut a lot of it off. And I have to stuff the shoe because it's that much bigger than Ken's feet. So slice down the middle, and then I slice on an angle because I still wanted to stick up enough in the front that I could work it up under the fur and really make it look as if it's boots, because I was having to cut off so much. They're just so big and I couldn't fit them under the fur. And I really wanted them to just look like, you know, it was all attached like Santa. So I just cut them with a razor. Doll shoes are pretty easy to cut. They look okay. I mean, they're giant, but it really does look okay. You know, it gives it that Santa kind of look. But it really wouldn't be Santa without a hat. So I just quickly sketched a kind of triangle around his head and leave enough to where it goes about halfway to his ear, you know, so you have enough room to go around his head. So I left a 1/4 inch seam allowance, cut it out of that same material and put this cuff on the same way I did on the pants from that same towel. The only bad thing about this, I looked through all my pom-poms. I had green, I had red, I had yellow. I had no white pom-poms. So I thought I was not going to have a pom-pom for this, but luckily I stumbled across one eventually. So I was gonna leave his hat at that till I could go to the store and get some pom-poms. And then I wanna have a toy sack. I've gotta go all the way here. And I went to a yard sale at Grace Methodist Church a couple weekends ago, and I got some little Christmas toys. Well, they're not really Christmas toys, but that's what I'm gonna make them. I saw this bag of like Christmas decorations. I'm like, oh, that's perfect for Barbie. So this time I took a nice red satin material that I have, made a little pouch, sewed it up. That was real easy. And now I'm gonna put a drawstring on this to pull tight. So the way I sewed a little like loop inside the bag so I could run it through. So now that I've measured about what I want, just take a straight pin and put it through the ribbon, and that's how you can feed it through. That's the easiest way for me. I'm sure there's some professional way to do it, but this is my method and it works. You just cinch it through the whole thing, and then when I brought it through the other side, I put it together and tied a knot so that it would, you know, not ever come back out again. Then I stuffed it with just scrap material. I keep all my scrap material so I can stuff pillows and whatever else I need to stuff. If I'm making a mattress or something. And I just stuffed it full till almost to the top, and then pulled out the Christmas stuff that I got from Grace Methodist. So I saw these bags and some jewelry that I knew was gonna look good for decorations and toys and things. So wow, look what I found in this bag I never even noticed before. Pom-poms. So these pom-poms were glued onto these silver things, so I was able to take one of those off for the Santa hat. And then these little bears, you could take them off real easy off the wires, and they are the cutest little, look like stuffed animals. They're perfect. So I filled his sack and put the little bears in, and they just are adorable, just sticking out of the top. It looks like Santa with a bag full of toys. So he just came out great. I'm really happy with Santa.